Hey everybody, in this session, we're going to learn how to have an unlimited number of small group leaders and how you can connect 125% of your congregation in a small group. Now, I know both those things are crazy because when I do conferences all around the globe, I know that one of the pain points is small group leaders. And I want to help you find those small group leaders very easily. I also know that people always will ask me the question, what percent of my congregation should be connected into a small group? And I want to help you think towards 125%. I want you to think beyond your church family and start to think into your community. So in this session, we're going to talk about the general part of connecting people into small groups. Now, when we're talking about connecting, I want to take you through 6 fundamentals that you have to answer and understand so that when you connect people, you're connecting them in the best way possible. Now, the first one is customer service. You have to have a plan in your customer service that takes care of the single person. If somebody comes up to you and says, I need to get connected into a group, how are you going to service that person? How are you going to help them? When I was at a smaller church and I only had a handful of groups, I'd always have 1 or 2 groups that they would let me send anybody to them. So I knew I'd have an answer right at the spur of the moment because great customer service takes care of them quickly, personally, and professionally. And so you want to be thinking through, what is my customer service strategy? Just role play, different people coming up to you. How are you going to answer them and how are you going to think through those processes? The second thing you've got to be thinking about is multiplication. Now, multiplication is sometimes an answer for people getting connected into a group because they say, if I start with one group, after a set period of time, I'm going to break apart and I'm going to have 2 other groups. Now, one of the things that we found at Saddleback is that multiplication doesn't work. I always get reactions from our group people that say, hey, I'll do it, Pastor, but then they never do it. Or I get another group of people who kind of give me the big spiritual middle finger and say, hey, I'm not going to do it no matter what you say. And, what puzzled me is I had to figure out, why were people so adverse to this strategy of connecting people? And what I found out is that when we did some focus groups with people who didn't want to break their group up at all, I found a common thread that was in this focus group, and that was, this group was like my family, my blood family. And when you start to understand that the church is built on a family system, you start to realize that your small groups are the next layer of family that people have. They'll have a biological family, but most families are spread apart, they're scattered throughout the world. And then the other part is that the church family becomes a deeper part of fellowship in their small group, and it becomes like their blood family. I know that's true in my own small group, as I've had brothers and sisters that have gone to be in heaven, parents are in heaven. And so what you've got to ask yourself the question is, does multiplication work as a strategy? But more importantly is understanding why it doesn't work in most Western cultures. Because when you look at Western cultures, is that they destroy the family system the way God designed it. God designed the family system, 1 mom, 1 dad, and it was a family unit. But what happens is that in our culture, we find out that it fractures the family unit. And there's 5 things that fracture the family unit. One of them is divorce. The national average in the United States is 40%. In the county I live in, it's 72%. So it is very shattered. Step families. 2015 census says that 57% of children under the age of 18 are raised in a step family. It's not good or bad, it's just where culture is at. When you look at 3 other areas, they aren't as significant as the first 2, but higher education, when kids move away and go to college. My daughter is in Nashville, Tennessee. My son is in Phoenix, Arizona. Strong chance they could meet people and they could move away from me. That shatters the family unit. When you get jobs, They move you away from your families. And so that can do it too, and also in a military. My point about this is understanding is if you're banking on a strategy that your culture doesn't accept, you've got to think through that. You've got to understand what is going to be my strategy. Of course, you know I'm going to give you one here on the next point.